Things. I'm your host, Rebecca Turner. Now, don't forget, you can listen to Good Things. We are streaming live over at SuperTalk.fm. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. But you can watch us, too. We are on your computer or your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. Now, New Stage just opened a new hit musical, Come From Away. It opened May 27th, but it's running through June 8th. And we've got two of the actors joining us here today on Good Things. We got Miss Jamie Ferguson as well as Miss Mandy Kate Myers. So welcome, ladies.
Hi, thanks for having us.
I will let y'all share who you play in there. But first off, which one would you like to take? Just sort of give us a background of what Come From Away is in terms of the musical.
Jamie, you want to do it? Or you? Okay. So Come From Away is we've been calling it kind of a 9/12 sort of story. It's what happened, yes, on the day of 9/11, but also after in a small town called Gander in Canada, in Newfoundland, and just kind of an unknown little story that a lot of people just have never been aware of.
Is this based on a true story?
It's based on a true story. It is. A lot of the characters are actual people, and some of the characters are a combination of the actual people that were in Gander, if that makes sense. So all of these people in the show, all of the characters in the show represent real people that participated in this part of the story after 9/11.
Did both of you know about this story prior to getting this role? Because I've never heard about this story, so it's new to me. So I'm sure it's new to somebody else.
Yes, I knew about the story.
You did? Okay.
I knew about it by way of this show, having seen it on Broadway. So before I did this role, having seen it in New York, but that was the first time that I had heard about this, was because of this show.
So it sounds sad, right? Anytime you talk about 9/11, people think, how is this turning into like a musical, or have like sort of a heartwarming or happier spin to it? So Jamie, how does that kind of happen? How is it that we take something that's pretty tragic, like 9/11, but offer this sort of side of it where humanity shows its best, especially the days leading after such a tragedy?
It's really about how the community in Newfoundland comes together and to care for all these different people and animals that were sort of just there displaced during the events that happened there. So it's really about the humanity and the kindness and the community that's formed in the wake of a tragedy.
So Mary Kate, how long has this been out as a musical? I know sometimes New Stage, gets things that's already been on Broadway, or it sort of comes through. So this isn't new. Like this has been, or the story has been told before on stage.
It has been told before on stage. I saw it on Broadway in 2017, so it was somewhere around there. 2017, 2018, somewhere around there, that I believe, because I saw it pretty close to after it opened. So I might have to look up the actual year, but it was right around there. Yeah,
that's totally fine. So I was just, if people are sort of familiar with it, and it's finally getting its opportunity to be shown here in Mississippi. So when you ladies heard that it was coming to town, are you both from Mississippi? Because I know sometimes New Stage gets actors from all over. Is this home for you guys?
Currently it is, yes.
Currently? Well, hey, we're going to work to keep you, Mary Kate. Mandy Kate, I'm going to do that again.
It's totally fine. People do it all the time.
So what led you to audition for your roles?
I love the musical, and I love doing musicals. So anytime there's an opportunity to audition, I'm there.
She's like, I'm just gonna give it a whirl and do something different. So which character do you play, Jamie?
I'm playing Bonnie is my main track. So unique to this musical is every actor, there's 6 men and 6 women, and we all play multiple characters throughout the show. Some might just be for like a quick moment, but and then we also sort of have like a more like principal track that we have.
Does that make it more interesting, more difficult, all of the above, when you have to be multiple personalities?
All of the above. Yeah. It's been a very intense process, but very fun too, to discover all the different distinctions between all the people you're playing, and which jacket or which hat you're wearing. Literally,
just thinking, I was like, man, do you come out in the wrong, if you pick up the wrong hat or put on the right hat and then come out and say the wrong sort of thing? I mean, does that ever happen on stage by accident?
Oh, there are some definite
not that the audience would necessarily ever know.
Yeah, no, there are things about this that are very intricately planned out as far as like the giving and receiving of clothing on stage. And so if one of those things, is off, then it kind of knocks some of the others off. So you just kind of have to improvise in the moment if that happens, but hopefully it won't.
Yeah, luckily nothing too crazy has happened.
Well, you've already had opening nights. That was the 27th. That was 2 days ago. Gosh, I can't believe we're already at the end of May. But how was it to finally have the curtains up and this show running for you guys?
It was wonderful to finally have an audience, I think.
Yes.
I mean, we'd had people coming in and out of rehearsals, that we work with every day, but it was lovely to have an audience from the community and hear how they respond and what they laugh at and, that sort of thing. So it's always great to have that sort of a feedback.
How long have you all been working on it to bring it to stage? I guess rehearsals would be the right word.
3 weeks.
Yeah, so we usually do a 3-week rehearsal
3
process.
weeks? That's impressive.
And it really usually ends up being less than that because by the 3rd week, we want to be on stage and running things and fixing things. So really, the learning process is a little bit shorter than the 3 weeks.
How do you learn your lines in 3 weeks?
Just make it happen.
I guess at least maybe would I say, not easy, but the benefit of a musical would be that singing's easier to remember than just lines, or is that just me thinking?
It sometimes can be. I mean, for sure. There are definitely challenges on both ends, I think, but we get a lot of repetition with all of our rehearsal time. We are full-time in rehearsal, especially with this project. So Tuesday through Sunday rehearsals. Monday is our day off, and we do that for 3 weeks, and then we open. So
you've already opened, and I guess the ship sails until June the
8th.
So if people want to come out and see it, come from away, how do they do that? What are there any specials going on, or what nights will y'all be doing? Will y'all do multiple nights? I know you guys will be busy. So how can folks see it?
Well, they can get tickets online at newstagetheater.com, which is TRE at the end, theater with an R, TRE at the end. There's tickets available at the box office at 601-948-3533. Tonight is actually graduate night, so 2025 graduates can reserve $25 tickets for tonight's performance. So this discount's available in person or calling the box office and mentioning graduate night.
You know what's crazy about that, Jamie? I was a senior in high school when 9/11 happened. So, you think about where they are in their life, right? And then they're coming to see a musical or be more educated about it. But every time someone mentions certain dates, you think about where you were at. But I can't imagine, as a senior, I was a senior, that way. Our seniors now, looking back, how our parents must have felt for us when we were maneuvering through the events after. So I'm glad you guys are encouraging younger people to come out and see it, because I was going to ask Mandy Kate, is this a good musical for folks of all ages? What's that right age? Obviously, 18 or seniors would be an appropriate age, and then older.
Sure.
But is there content in it that you might want to have a conversation with prior to, for a 13 or 14-year-old, or do y'all keep it on the warm-hearted side? Because again, you hear 9/11, it can go either way.
Yeah, right. Well, it's definitely, there's a lot of warm-hearted content. There are a lot of comedic moments as well. So there are some laughs. There are some more heartfelt moments. I think probably the only conversation to have would be one or two phrases that might have,
those kind of. Yeah. I'm just thinking more of speaking to what happened and
the content. Yeah, no, the content I think is great. It's just it's kind of a good mixture of being heartwarming, and there are some sad moments, but there's also
redemption moments.
Yeah, redemption and some comedy. So you've got a good little mix in there.
And a really interesting thing is the whole purpose of the show is sharing these stories, right? And there's a chance for the audience members to do that as well. In the lobby, we have set up a place where you can share your 9/11 story, things about either how you learned about it or sort of just your experience on that day if you remember it, because it is one of those days that people remember exactly where they were. They remember what happened when they heard.
A black skirt on, a blue shirt.
Right.
I knew exactly.
Right.
So even if you weren't born, that can be your story, or if you know your parents' story, share that with us. It's a really cool thing to have that constantly being collected there in the lobby.
It's been great to go and look at all the different stories people have left, and I can't wait to see how that grows as we share.
Where were you ladies on 9/11?
Ooh.
Jamie, were you even born?
Yes.
Were you a baby?
No, I was in 3rd grade.
Okay, that's
still also a baby, but I was cognizant of it.
Yes.
Yeah, no, they rolled the TV into the classroom and we were just watching it, which seems kind of interesting to think about.
Well, now we want them to come watch Come From Away. They're at New Stage, playing now through June the 8th. Well, we've got that and more with the girls coming up next. .fm. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. You can watch us too. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. We're talking to two of the actors from the new Stage musical, Come From Away. It is a moving and uplifting musical based on the true story of 7,000 airline passengers stranded in a small town of Canada. That's not the name of the town. Following the events of 9/11, and it's going to be a great production. So Jamie and Mandy Kate are with us today. You guys mentioned that there's a wall there at New Stage telling the 9/11 stories. So I want folks listening to good things. If you feel inspired, 601-879-4395. I know we're amidst away 9/11, but if you remember where you were at or what you were wearing or whatever it may be, you can share that story with us as well. Jamie, you mentioned you were in the 3rd grade. You remember them willing in the TV to sort of show you. Mandy Kate, I'm gonna guess you weren't in the 3rd grade. But that's not for any other. Neither was I. I was a senior in high school. So what is your story, your 9/11 story that might be on that wall?
I was in a dance class when it happened at Southern Miss. And then to the top. And then we found out in my next class, which was microbiology lab. And then they ended up canceling the lab, and we flew back home to our apartments and dorms and whatnot. And we were just out of school for the rest of the day. Watching it on the TV the whole time.
But again, this Come From Away is more about how others took in those that were fleeing or sort of displaced. It's uplifting. It's the best of humanity. I like how you mentioned it's like a 9/12 day, right? And so often we all think, man, if we could just get back to 9/12 and how everybody loved and sort of opened their doors and helped each other. And I think that's a really good message that we could all hear right now. Now, I know New Stage puts a lot into all of their productions, but I think something new was built for this one, specifically for this show. So, Mandy Kate, what kind of set had to be built for the Come From Away to be accomplished?
So we have this really cool turntable that has become that is like our floor for the set. They started building it in I think early March maybe, and so it started before we even started the rehearsal process. They were building this, and it's 24 feet in diameter, and it moves the story in ways that we wouldn't be able to do on our own just walking the stage, if that makes any sense. And it added a whole new level of not just the storytelling, but also like how we move on the stage and learn to use the turntable.
Do you get dizzy, Jamie?
I don't, not anymore.
Is it like a lazy Susan for the stage?
It's sort of,
kind of, yeah. But it can go faster than that.
And you don't, you can sing and spin in circles. You should absolutely put that on your resume.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, we will all be adding turntable.
And it will do full turns, but they can also make it stop where they want it in just different places. It can do just partial turns and make
so it sounds
the
like
set
this
move
is
around.
Also a visually appealing musical
absolutely.
or sort of experience.
It's a beautiful set.
Beautiful set. Beautiful panels that are painted that hang behind the turntable that all around the set of the trees and the kind of landscape of Gander. So it's really beautiful.
So if folks wanted to come out, maybe they've never come out, how do you explain to them, Jamie, what a New Stage experience is like? Like when they come in, is it how long kind of will the production last? Are there breaks? Kind of set it up for us.
So this show's about an hour and 45 minutes. There's no intermission in this show. Typically in a musical or even in a play, there will be an intermission, but this one's presented all the way through without an intermission. So you'll come in, come into the lobby, and you can see the lobby's decorated very nicely. We've got pictures of the real people that these characters are based on, and also the wall where you can share your story.
In that way, and then come in and sort of enjoy it. Yeah. Now, you guys have been with New Stage for how long? How long have you been a part of New Stage there, Jamie?
Well, I grew up going to some of the like the teen camps and like the Broadway junior camps, but I've been doing shows, really think just the last season and this season.
What inspired you to do theater back as a young kid or teen?
My mom took me to everything she could.
I thought she was going to say my mom made me.
No, my mom.
I was like, I hope mom's listening.
Oh, no, she is.
Thanks,
Hi, Mom. She took me to see Aida. Actually, it was a touring cast of Aida, and I fell in love, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do musical theater. And now 2 degrees later, and I teach it and do musicals when I can. It's great.
So, Mandy Kate, what's your story to the stage?
Similarly, I grew up in a very musical family. My grandmother, my uncle, my mom is a singer, even though she doesn't like to admit that she still is. She's got a beautiful voice, and I grew up just kind of surrounded by all of that and theater, and just loved it and did it my whole life all the way through high school, and kind of when I moved back to Jackson, started auditioning for New Stage, and that's how I landed, being able to work with them. So,
can anybody audition? Is that one of those things like you don't have to have you go in for any other job, you have to take your resume and show some prerequisites. Is it one of those things like if you want to just Hail Mary it, you could come and
absolutely
wing it if you wanted to?
Yeah,
absolutely.
There's general auditions in August usually, and then also New Stage has a really cool Unframed series that that you can also take part in.
For the camps, I know they probably are booked this summer, but you got parents and grandparents and guardians listening, Jamie. How impactful were those for you to have a place to sort of experience theater on another level, meet like-minded teens or tweens that kind of were into it as well, to scratch that itch? Because it feels like that's a very unique camp that you can't really find in most places.
Oh, yeah. I think registrations might still actually be open. So, yes, they are still open. No, it was great to have a place where you could go and just like you said, be around people who wanted to do the same thing as you and get training from people who were, knew more than you and could teach you how to do these things.
Well, because it's very intimidating or scary, I would think. You may still see yourself up there, but to actually get up there and do it, I think it takes a lot of courage, I would assume, and being around other teens your age that are interested in it can sort of be very helpful. Not all teens understand that, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Not all kids get the some kids have that itch to to perform and what that can look like and sort of provide you in that way. I also know, Jamie, that you serve, as I've read, the dialect coach there. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
How did you get into that?
I got into dialect coaching in grad school. I was able to serve as like a teaching assistant at where I went to grad school, and I've just been doing that ever since. When I lived in Boston for a while, I was working as a dialect coach a lot, and then since I've moved back into the area, I've been able to dialect coach several
Can you
shows.
give people a country accent or take the country accent away?
Yes, I can give you however much country you want, and then we can switch it somewhere else if you want. We can go somewhere else really quickly if you'd like.
When did you realize you could do that?
I don't know. I was really young. I think I'm an only child, so I just kind of had to, play pretend a lot. Lots of play pretend.
But I would say, like, Mandy Kate is as an actor, I would think that would be some of the hardest parts. Like, you watch things and you watch actors on TV that, don't have that kind of accent, and then you watch them in the thing, you think, man, it's got to be hard. Like, it takes a lot of effort or intentionality to sort of, like, stay in character.
It does, yeah, absolutely. It's really fun for me. I really enjoy learning a new dialect. It's a good challenge. I am a forever student, so I love I love the whole learning process of it, and breaking down the mechanics of how you do these different sounds and create these different sounds, and then it just kind of slowly becomes a part of how you're saying your lines, and it's amazing how it just starts kind of falling out of your mouth. I really love
and then
love
you have to sing in a different dialect.
Sometimes,
we do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a whole, like, just mad respect for you ladies. Like, I mean,
everyone's doing a great job.
Well, she gives great notes too. She's wonderful at what she does.
Well, and everybody can see this all come together if they come out and support a New Stage, and then also the new musical, which has Come From Away. Again, it kicked off on the 27th, but it's running through June the 8th. Just wrap us up, Jamie, with where we can get those tickets, or Mandy Kate can share where we get the tickets online and all the things. I know tonight's grad night, correct?
Yes, tonight's grad night. If you want to find out about all the different sort of specials, you can follow us on social media at New Stage Theater. That's theater with a TRE at the end. Tickets available online at newstagetheater.com or at the box office 601-948-3533. There's also an actor chat tonight after the show if you want to talk to us.
That's right. So people can stop and ask questions.
Yes. Please stay and ask us questions.
That will be a lot of fun. Do you get nervous, like what's coming from the audience?
No,
that's usually really fun. It's fun to see what they wonder about and what they want to know about.
Mine would be like, how do you keep up with which hat goes with which outfit, and like know all your lines and sort of all of the fun things.
Yeah.
Like that. But to any parent or kid listening that may be interested in New Stage, recommend the summer camps?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
taught there for years. They're great. They're great.
I think it's a great outlet for kids too. All right, can I say break a leg?
Yes, please.
So break a leg,
Thank
you
you.
ladies. Thank you for your time and look forward to having you back. And you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming.